Hey, this is Tkay Maidza, and you're listening to Vocalo.
Hey, it's Nudia from Nudia in the Afternoons here on Vocalo Radio, Chicago's only urban alternative, only NPR music station in the city, 91.1 FM. We are backstage at Lincoln Hall in the green room right now with the one, the only Tkay Maidza. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm really excited for tonight.
I know you've been in Chicago before, right? You performed before?
I have. I think the last show I played here was sold out, but it was like a really small, intimate crowd. So I'm really excited to like have a bigger setup and like do the thing, you know.
Okay, a little something, something.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to start off with this because I was going to say before we get into anything else, I saw your Kill Bill cover.
Yeah.
On Like a Virgin, and how dare you? Okay, how dare you with that? It was amazing. It was so, I've never seen the way like it moved in, and you started not with like her lyrics, you started with like a little like sub harmony. I was like, oh my gosh, it was so good.
The song is so iconic, and I idolize SZA. She's a legend, and I just felt like, honestly, I was like, all right, we're going to try to like do the song justice and do what she did, and I was like, there is no point trying to replicate what it is, and I might as well just try and make it my own. So it was like a really fun experience to like TKify it. So honestly, thank you for saying that. I don't really hear that a lot, actually, because it's mainly like an Australian thing. Because Like a Virgin's very, very Australian, so it's like you're probably the first person I've heard over in America tell me that.
Oh, well, you know, I had to do my research. You know, I was coming to see you. I had to stalk you just a little bit. I have to get all like FBI when we're coming to do these interviews. Yeah. But no, I saw it. I actually listened to it like 3 times. Mm-hmm. I sent it out to a couple people, and I was like, this is so cool, because it is, when you are covering someone like SZA, like these like great artists, right. It's like, what am I supposed to do just the same thing she did, you know?
Right. Yeah, and like she has such a unique voice, and like so do I, but I don't know, sometimes there's like no point trying to do what someone's done. It's like they're as excellent as they are already, so it's just kind of like, all right, I'm gonna do my thing in the corner and just like be silly by myself, you know what I mean? And I love the song so much. As soon as it dropped, I was like, yep, she did it. And I felt that with Control. I was like, as soon as I heard Supermodel, like as soon as I pressed play, I was like, she did it. And that's how I felt when I heard Kill Bill as well.
And it really like gets you in your feelings, doesn't it? Like, you know, I was gonna say congratulations on Sweet Justice, your album. I mean, 2 years in the making, right?
Yeah. I like, it's interesting, like with the parallels of Kill Bill and everything. It's about like retribution. I feel like her perspective in that song obviously is like, I'm gonna kill my ex kind of thing, but for me it was like the same point of view, and I felt like it spoke from a certain perspective of like feeling like you've been done wrong. But I really had to go through this whole period of like going from poor me to like, wait, I survived this and I'm actually fine, and maybe I am the prize out of this. And I think that there's a parallels with like the artists that I really love. And yeah, I'm really proud for it to be out. It was definitely just me like overcoming a whole period of my life that I don't think at that, before I went through it, I didn't think I could achieve it, because I had to be confident in who I was and understand that I can do things by myself, you know?
No, I was gonna say, you know, you are very young, and like, but I feel like in music years, you're like 55 with all the things you've been through, you know? Like, you started when you were a teenager. You were such a little baby when you first started in the music industry, and you've gone through, you know, you've gone indie, you've like switched labels, you've also switched, you know, management, and decided to want to work and have like more of a female team around you. You've gone through so much, and you're just in your early 20s, you know? Were those lessons kind of hard to learn, because the music industry is such a, it's known as a cutthroat business?
Definitely, but I feel like when you feel like something is right, you just have to do it because life is short and you don't really want to sit around and be like, damn, this did get worse. You're like on the cliff and you're like, oh my God, I think it could be better. And then you're just like dangling even more. It's like, if you're already on the cliff, then you just need to like run back straight to the green grass. Yeah, I feel like in those moments where I'm like, the grass is probably greener over there. It definitely is. That's what I've like noticed. But that's not always a lesson. But I think in terms of like who you want to be, and the question I always ask myself is, do you want to know this person 5 years from now? And if I'm saying no, then chop.
Yeah, you know, I think because not all friendships are meant to be long lasting. We're going to end up in the old people's home together. Sometimes it's just cute. I call them cute friendships. I see you when you're outside. I'm not even sure what you do for work, you know, but we go out, we have a drink, we have fun, you know, we go catch a comedy show, go get something to eat. So not all friendships are meant to be deep, you know. True. Sometimes it's okay to have a cute little, hey girl, okay, bye. See you next month, you know. What advice would you give to other artists, since you have been through so many changes in the music industry, like young artists coming up? What would you say?
Trust what makes you excited. I think the reason why people around you are because of you. And if you listen to too many people, it can get diluted. And it's good to have advice, but if you get to a point where you're like relying on like, yes, okay, do this, do that. And then there's a point where it's a standstill because you realize that the people around you don't know what they want. And you don't know what you want. The question is, what do you want? And once again, what makes you excited? So it's like, it's always your first instincts are your best instincts.
I love that. I love that advice. Some wisdom here. Okay, there's a wisdom radio show now. Let's get back to the album. You have some amazing people you worked with: Amber Mark, Flume, KAYTRANADA. What was it like working with KAYTRANADA? We're, big fans.
He is amazing, so talented, so easygoing, so chill. It's almost like a friend. Actually, like I kept meeting up with him at like random clubs, parties. That's how we first got accustomed to each other. We just kept seeing each other. And then he was like, wait, yeah, you're TK from Australia. I'm like, yes, I am. I was like, I am. And then he came to Australia for festivals and he's like, you again? I was like, it's me. And when we got into the studio, it was really cool because he's kind of like, a lot of producers are really quiet and reserved, but I think because we'd seen each other so many times, I could just like break the ice being like, oh, remember that night? Like I ended up just like not existing after 10 p.m. And he was like, that's hilarious. Here's a beat. And then we like made an amazing song. So it was really cool. It felt like working with a best friend and someone that I've known for a long time, just because we had the like friendship and personal like dynamic already established. And I think that's what also made for the songs that we made.
We play heavily on Vocalo radio. You know, we play What You Know, Gone to the West. What was it like working with Duckworth? I feel like they really work with only amazing, good singers that we love.
Duckworth is amazing too. We have a song that we did like 4 years ago. So for me, it felt like a homecoming, being like, what's good? Want to do another one? And they said, yeah, like it was. We have a lot of mutual friends, so that was like an easy process of like me sending it to him and he sent it back, and I was like, always kills it, always amazing, just like on point, literally.
I love that. And you know, when you're listening to the album, there were so many steps leading up to it. You know, you had 3 versions of Last Year Was Weird, and where everyone listened to you kind of like go through different genres of like neo soul, and then like, you know, hip house and all these different like R&B vibes. Were you trying to find your sound? Like, because I feel like it's hard for people to describe a TK sound.
Right.
You know, you sing, you rap, it's a little bit of everything.
I think the Last Year Was Weird like series was just me establishing my parameters and my boundaries, my musical boundaries. I have always wanted to make music like that, and just to have the freedom to explore and just to see who comes along on the journey. And honestly, the like goal for that was to like discover who I was, but realign who I hope would listen to my music and who I think is my peers. And I was so lucky to actually have achieved that goal, because I was like, oh cool, now I'm exactly where I wanted to be like 5 years ago. So it is funny because there isn't one way to like describe me, but I think what you named, like the genres that you're like ticking into, is exactly what I want people to be like, she can do this. And then if I do an indie pop song, you're like, that's not random. If I do an R&B song, you're like, not random. If it's like distorted and like kind of annoying, you're like, makes sense, you know?
I love that. And you're also a fashion girly. Just looking from your Insta, you know, you were at Fashion Week. You've worked with Gucci, right? So what, like, how important has it been to craft your image, and, you know, how much time have you put into that?
It's pretty important to me, one, because I studied architecture for a year before I dropped out to do music, so I'm very visually based. And the moment where I really took control of my career, I was like, the artists that I really look up to, like Tyler Creator, FK Twigs, I could say Kanye. I mean, literally, he's a visual package. I mean, even like Beyonce, Rihanna, anyone who's at the top, it's like a 360 package of like, you can visually understand what they're trying to tell you as well as musically. And I felt like the more in touch I became with my visuals and my visual representation, it aligns me better with where I'm supposed to be. So I'm really fortunate and happy and like, I don't know what the word is, appreciative to be where I'm at right now, because that's what I wanted to do. Like, I just hope that it looks and sounds cool, relatable, fantastical, magical, expensive. Like, that's just like an alternative. Like, I want it to be like something you haven't seen before, or like a taste of something, you know, but like, you know, like a bit to the side, you know.
I love that. And I mean, I'd love to see you work with other fashion houses. I feel like you've got a great look for, you know, the fashion industry. The girlies love the vibes. And so now is your focus just to, because you've put out so much music in the past few years, is your focus like on touring and maybe putting out more visuals or music videos? Or are you going to be back in the studio?
Back in the studio. Definitely. I mean, definitely touring, because my album just dropped like 2 months ago, which is so crazy because it feels like it's been 3 years since it came out. Like, time goes so quick. But more music, that's the best way to build, because I feel like people care about me first as a musician, from what I see. Because if I'm like, here's my face, they're like, you look cute, but where's the music? And I'm like, all right, I need to drop a song. And then if I'm like, here's the music and I look cute, they're like, oh, like,
That's what we want.
they're like, that's what we want. So definitely the music first, and then everything will follow. Like, I like giving it like a whole story and a whole, like, you know, like, universe.
I love that. And so making, I mean, Australia proud, the Australian music scene. Are you going to go back home soon, or is it going to be a while with you touring?
It might be a while. I was just there in November, so, and I played like, I think like 3 or 4 tours last year. Like, I was there with Lizzo, and then I did the New Year's festivals in 2023, and then I did 23, and then I did end of 2023 like festivals, which is like before Christmas. So I'm kind of like, I've been there, so I need to like chill for a bit.
I love that. And speaking of touring, you've gotten to tour, like you said, with Lizzo, Billie Eilish. So you guys were like friends, right? She followed you before you even know who she was?
Yeah. We were on the same label for a bit. I've been through so many labels. Like, there's always like just random things happening in the back end. But there was a label that I was on that was like teed up with hers. And I think that's how she knew about me. But I catch on to things not late, still kind of early, but later than like the cooler person. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So then I started following her, and then I looked through like all of my old photos, and I was like, wait, she was already liking these, which is crazy. She Billie Eilish.
That's a flex. That's a flex. Like, Billie Eilish is liking my pictures in 2017, okay? Right. And so, you know, you've gotten to work with so many people. What are some like dream collabs? You know, what are, like, you know, you're really like itching for?
I think like a Tyler the Creator would be cool. Do you know what? Tinashe would be amazing. That's like it's not obvious, but it's actually obvious at the same time. That'd be really dope. Charlie XCX, Victoria Monet, Pharrell, Asai Rashad, JID. I have a whole list. Smino.
Oh, yes.
Sava.
Oh, gosh, we would love to hear Smino.
Sava. It goes on.
We love that Chicago's very own
Exactly.
Sava. And so last question. Let's say it's a rainy day, stormy, rain is falling down your window. What song are you putting on?
Ooh.
Cloudy, no sun, just chilling, cuddled in your bed. What song are you putting on?
I probably play like All For You by Mariah the Scientist. That's the only song that can come into my head for now.
I love that. And we're backstage again at Lincoln Hall in the green room with Tkay Maidza. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we can't wait to hear more from you. And kill it tonight. We know you are going to.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support. Yeah.